Daf Yomi, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 24. I'm at Aleph. 24a, on top of the page. The words Be'edim Pesulim. V'dayanik Ksherin Migo de Pasli Adi Pasli Nami Dayani, excuse me, I have a little cold. Pasli Nami Dayani Seifa V'dayanim Pesulin Be'edim Ksherin de Migo de Pasli de Dayani Pasli Nami Adi. It is stated with regard to a case of disqualified witnesses and fit judges, meaning the litigant claims that both the witnesses and the judges are disqualified, and proves his claim only with regard to the witnesses. Rabbi Meir holds that since the witnesses are disqualified, the judges are also disqualified, as the litigant's entire claim is deemed credible. The latter clause, where Rabbi Meir rules that a litigant can disqualify witnesses, is stated with regard to a case of disqualified judges and fit witnesses, meaning the litigant proves his claim only with regard to the judges. Since the judges are disqualified, the witnesses were also disqualified. Maskif la rava bishlom amiga de pasli edi pasli nami danayani ikabe dayani achrino el amigo de pasli dayani pasli nami edi v'ha edim tu leka. Rava objects to this interpretation. Granted, in the former clause, it is reasonable that since the witnesses are disqualified, the judges are also disqualified, as since there is the opinion of going to another court. There's the option of going to another court. Disqualifying these specific judges has no irreversible effect on the outcome of the case. But in the latter case, how can Rabbi Meir hold that since the judges are disqualified, the witnesses are also disqualified without proof? This disqualification nullifies the entire case, as there are no more witnesses. Lo itzricho dika kat acheres. The Gemara answers no. The Mishnah is not referring to a case where there are no other witnesses. The dispute between Rabbi Meir and the rabbis is necessary only in a case where there is another set of witnesses which the litigant did not disqualify. Since disqualifying this set will not predetermine the outcome, the litigant's claim that these witnesses are qualified is accepted. Haleka katacheres mai achanami tlomatzi pasli hainu derav dimi. The Gemara asks, but if there is no other set of witnesses, what is the halach? Is it indeed true that the litigant cannot disqualify them? If so, this is identical to Rav Dimi's interpretation that the Mishnah is referring to a case where there are two sets of witnesses. Ikabe naihu migo demar savar amrinan migo umar savar lo amrinan migo. Migo is 59. Migos 59. The Gemara answers, there is a practical difference between them with regard to the principle that since Migo one of the litigant's claims is found to be correct, it can be assumed that other claims of his are correct as well. As one sage, Ravin, holds that according to Rabbi Meir, we say Migo in this principle should be followed. One sage, Rav Dimi, holds that we do not say Migo. Ein minute, 1 second. Excuse me. Holds that we do not. I'm gonna just put this on pause for a minute here. The Gemara answers. Pause. Sorry about that little interruption there. The Gemara answers there's a practical difference between them with regard to the principle of Migo. It's called since. It's called Migo. Since one of the litigant's claims is found to be correct, it can be assumed that the other claims of his are correct as well. Because he could have lied on one. And if he didn't lie on one, it's not likely that he would lie on the others. As one sage, Ravin, holds that according to Rabbi Meir, we say Migo. This principle should be followed. And one sage, Rav Dimi, holds that we do not say Migo, but rather the litigant is required to prove every claim he makes. Gufa Amar Reish Lakish Pekadosh Yomar Devar Zeh. What's the Gemara of Pekadosh? Pekadosh, Pekadosh, Pekadosh. 495. Ametim. Chaya Ametim. Pekadosh Yomar Devar Zeh Tni Edo. The Gemara returns to discuss the matter itself. Reish Lakish says, with a holy mouth, meaning that of Rabbi Meir, say this strange statement that a litigant can prevent a witness from testifying against him. That a litigant can prevent a witness from testifying against him. A litigant can prevent. Rather, amend the text of the Mishnah and teach his witness in the singular, meaning that a litigant can disqualify only a witness who testifies alone. A.D. The Gemara asks, is that so? What was it in character for Reish Lakish to speak of Rabbi Meir with such reverence when disagreeing with his ruling? But doesn't Ula say, when one sees Reish Lakish studying Torah in the study hall, it is as though he is uprooting mountains and grinding them into each other. Ve'amar Ula haroya es Reish Lakish beves hamidrash ki'ilu oiker horim v'toichanon ze bo ze. Reish Lakish was evidently very sharp in his analysis. Omer Ravino v'halo kol haro'eh Rabbi Meir bebeit hamidrash ki'ilu oiker horim b'toichanon ze bo ze. Ravino said in response, what is the difficulty? But is it not so that when anyone sees Rabbi Meir studying Torah in the study hall, it is as though he is uprooting the highest of mountains and grinding them into each other. Rabbi Meir was a greater scholar than Reish Lakish. So it was fitting for Reish Lakish to speak of him with reverence. Hachi kamar ba'ur kama mechavivin ze et ze. The Gemara answers the question, is that so? Was not stated to raise a difficulty. Rather, this is what he is saying. Meaning, this is what the Gemara was noting. Come and see how much the sages love each other. Although Reish Lakish was himself very sharp and a great Torah scholar, he spoke of Rabbi Meir with reverence. Kiha di Yasif Rabbi Vika Omar Asur Lahatmin Es Hatzoinein Omar Lefan Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi Abba Hitir Lahatmin Et Hatzoinein Amar Lahem Kevar Hora Zaken. The Gemara cites another example of Torah scholars spoke of each other with reverence. It is like that incident where Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi sat and said, it is prohibited to insulate cold food on Shabbat to keep it cold. It is prohibited to insulate cold food, as this may lead one to insulate hot food on Shabbat to keep it hot. Rabbi Yishmael, son of Rabbi Yossi, said before him, my father ruled that it is permitted to insulate cold food on Shabbat. There is no concern that this will lead one to insulate hot food on Shabbat. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi subsequently said to those who asked him about this issue, I retract my previous statement. The elder Rabbi Yossi has already issued a ruling on this topic, and I defer to his ruling. Amar Papa Bo Ure'eh Kama Mechavavin Ze Bazeh Te'ilu Rabbi Yossi Kaim Haya Kafuf V'Yoshev Lifnei Rebbe Tehar Rabbi Yishmael Rabbi Yossi Imali Makom Avotav Have V'Haya Kafuf V'Yoshev Lifnei Rebbe V'Ko Amar Kevar Hora Zaken. Rav Papa says, come and see how much they loved each other, as had Rabbi Yossi still been alive, he would have been subordinate to and sitting before Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi as a student, as Rabbi Yishmael, son of Rabbi Yossi, was his father's replacement. In other words, he was a great Torah scholar, as he forbears, and he was subordinate to and sitting before Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi as a student. And nevertheless, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi said the elder had already issued a ruling on this topic, and he deferred to Rabbi Yossi's ruling. Amar Rabbi Oshia, Mai dichtiv. What time is it? Mai dichtiv. Ve'ekach li et shnei malkot. Shem makalot. Le'echad karati Noah. Ule'echad karati chovlim. Noam. אלו תלמידי חכמים שבארץ ישראל שמאמינים זה לזה בהלכה. חובלים אלו תלמידי חכמים שבבבל שמחבלים זה לא זה בהלכה. This demonstrates what Yehoshua said. What is the meaning of that which is written? And I took for myself 2 staves. The one I called graciousness, and the other I called binders. Zechariah 11:7. Graciousness. These are the Torah scholars in Eretz Yisrael, who are gracious to one another in discussions of halacha. They treat each other with honor and love, as demonstrated in the statements of Resh Lakish and Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. Binders, Chovelim, these are the Torah scholars of Babylonia, who injure shemechavlim each other with discussions in halacha, meaning that they speak harshly to each other when they disagree. Vayomer Elai ele shnei bnei hayitzar haomdim begomer ושניים זיתים עליה יצהר. אמר רבי יצחק, אלו תלמידי חכמים שבארץ ישראל, לא שנויכין זה לא זה, בהלכה כשמן זיז, ושניים זיתים עליה. אלו תלמידי חכמים שבבבל, שמויכין זה לזה, בהלכה כזיז. Similarly, it is stated, and then he said to me, these are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. Zechariah 4:14. As it is stated, and the 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon its left side. Zechariah 4:3. With regard to the expression anointed ones, Rabbi Yitzchak says these are the Torah scholars in Eretz Yisrael who are pleasant to each other in discussions of halacha like olive oil, which is not bitter. The verse, the 2 olive trees by it, should be interpreted as follows. These are the Torah scholars of Babylonia who are bitter to each other in discussions of halacha like an olive. Ve'esa einai ve'erev hine 2 nashim yotzot veruach bekanfeihem ve'lahen haknafayim kekanfei hachasido v'tisa'ed ha'ephah ben hashamayim ובין הארץ. ואומר אל המלאך הדובר בי, ענה המה מולכות את האפה. ויאמר אלי לבנות לה בית בארץ שנעל. אמר רבי יוחנן משום רבי שמעון בן יוחאי, זו חנופה וגסות הרוח שיורדו לבבל. The Gemara interprets another verse in Zechariah. Then I lifted my eyes and saw, and behold, there came forth 2 women, and the wind was in their wings. For they had wings like the wings of a stork. And they lifted up the measure between the earth and the heaven. Then I said to the angel that spoke with me, to where do they take the measure? And he said to me, to build her a house in the land of Shinar. Zechariah 5:9-11. Rabbi Yochanan says, in the name of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, this measure refers to flattery and arrogance that descended to Babylonia, meaning Shinar. Vegasot haruach לבבל Nachis. Wow. I'm going to have to do a second part here.